going on, man?
What's going on?
Hey, man, we back for another week of sports and sports topics. Let's get to it.
Check. I hear you talking opinions, but where your facts at? I think it's time that we pull up and do a fact check. Hung again, we calling you to the circle. I'm tired of hearing the bull. I'm questioning your discernment, yeah. Like how you question the people that's really earned it, the people that's really working. Type of stuff for the circus.
Yo, welcome to the Bob Will Wright podcast. We're back with another episode. What's going on, man? How you been?
What's going on? It's going pretty good. How about yourself?
Man, blessed, man. Staying busy.
That's good.
A lot of good sports news to talk about. A lot of good sports stories to talk about.
Real hectic week.
Yeah, we're going to get into it. But before we do that, let's go ahead and ask you guys to support the actual channel. Like, comment, subscribe to all of our social media platforms and outlets. We definitely appreciate the support we've gotten so far. We hope you guys continue to rock with us and check us out as we continue to push this project forward. We also like to take a moment to thank the guy that's paying the bills, Sean P. McKee's Lawn and Pressure Washing Service, a service in the Birmingham, Alabama surrounding areas. Get in contact with Sean and his team at 470-599-0296. That's 470-599-0296. Get in contact with Sean for your lawn mowing needs, lawn and renovation, seedling and flowering care, pressure washing, rubbish removal, as well as landscape design. Sean P. McKee's Lawn and Pressure Washing Service in the Birmingham, Alabama, and surrounding areas at 470-599-0296. Now, I know I'm about to have Oh, we good. All right, cool. Let's go.
Why would you thought it happened?
No, I thought I was about to have a glitch on my actual video commentary, but I actually got it right this time. So
okay. That'll work.
Hey, man, so let's go ahead and get right into it because I want to make sure we have enough time to kind of hone in on the end of the actual podcast. Toward the end of the podcast, we're going to get into what's really been a hot topic. In sports, at least for me and the people who I recently talked about sports with, and that's the college football series. Playoffs, which is about to pick up. But before we actually get into that, I want to talk about a couple other things. Let's go ahead and start with LeBron. If anyone was paying attention to LeBron this week, LeBron had some words to say with Ime Udoka, the actual head coach for the Rockets. You paid attention to any of that?
Yeah, I paid a little attention to it. It seemed like they were about to get into it. Like, I mean, I know they weren't going to go to blows or anything, but they had some spicy words for each other. I guess LeBron got I guess there was a foul that happened, and it seemed as though LeBron was doing a little chirping or whining in a sense about what about the foul call, and I guess E-Man, he yelled from the sideline, quit all that bitching, I guess. So
yeah.
So.
Well, Ime was Ime. Not Ime was Ime. LeBron was LeBron, rather. That's really what I want to say. LeBron has routinely been a person to object on foul calls, and that's really not uncommon for his entire career. And LeBron's not the only person that does it, but it seems like LeBron gets a lot more flack when he actually does it. Would you agree with that?
I think that's because he does it the most. I feel like he's always the one to complain about a call or pull the ref to the side and explain why this isn't a call. Like, he's almost like an on-court, ref in a sense. I mean, I know he has a great basketball IQ, but he's always seems the one to complain about a call and rather just take the call and just keep it moving. But E-Man, I don't know. E-Man, he had that look in his eye, like he was gonna whoop something. I ain't gonna lie. Like, when I looked at when I watched the video back, I was like, man, he's serious about what he's saying right now. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But
we tried to find a video, and we couldn't really find a video that was good enough quality without a lot of voiceovers that we could actually play for you guys. But you see some of the actual text that Ime used on the actual graphic that we have up. Called him a soft ass boy. Called him the thing that really got LeBron hot though is he threw the B word out there.
Facts.
Not boy, the other B word.
Right.
And LeBron just asked him to chill out, not be so loose with that that type of language. And and Ime, a former player, a former NBA player, I mean, he said what he said, and he wasn't about to back down.
Yeah, standing on business
as what's the popular phrase is right now, and that's kind of why Ime eventually ended up getting. I mean, the ref gave him a double tech. So it's not like the ref just held Ime accountable for the altercation. I mean, he gave LeBron a tech too. That just happened to be LeBron's first tech and Ime's second.
Okay, yeah.
And then Ime was ejected as a result of the actual conflict and verbal, back and forth with LeBron.
I think the funny thing about it was when there was a post-game press conference, he was asked by the media exactly what was said between them, and he said Thanksgiving they discussed how good their Thanksgivings were. But we all know that's not the truth, but that's just wild. Like, I don't think we ever seen well, I won't say we never seen a coach and player go at it like that, but I mean, this was like it's very serious in a sense, especially with LeBron, the caliber of player that he is, and then Ime coming back coming back in the league on a new team after, you know, leaving the Celtics and whatnot. So it's kind of major, but I mean, you got Dillon Brooks, and now I'm kind of starting.
Dillon Brooks was the voice of reason.
Yeah,
which kind of threw me. Yeah,
like
threw me.
You got Dillon Brooks. He's been like he's like the Lance Stevenson now of the league, like just the annoyance of the league.
Yeah.
You know, so it was kind of, I could see how that dynamic could kind of work with E-Man. You know these I guess these villains in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, so I like the dynamic, but that's just wild that they had those exchange for words. But we'll see where this goes. But I know the next time that they do play, I don't know when they are playing soon, but I'm definitely going to tune into that game.
Yeah, Brooks is the word I was going to use was antagonist.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like everywhere he, you know, going back to the Grizzlies and this, and I hate that the Grizzlies got rid of him. I really don't know what they were thinking. You need a guy like that on your team.
Yeah.
A guy who really, you know, may not be the most talented player, but
gets
doesn't mind and get, you know, stand up and compete. So, but they got rid of him. So here's a flip side of the whole Ime Udoka thing that I want to talk about. Of course, you said you were being very polite. You said that Ime Udoka left Boston. He was shown the door.
Yeah, he was shown the door.
Of course, for those who may not be aware, Ime Udoka did have a situation which wasn't a legal issue. It was, I guess, it was a violation of the company's, and when I talk about the company, I'm talking about the Celtics, maybe a moral clause, you would say?
Ethics or something?
Ethics, moral,
right.
And has nothing to do with Nia Long. I mean, it's irrelevant that Nia Long was involved in the actual story, who was Ime Udoka's girlfriend at the actual time. Girlfriend or fiance?
I think it was fiance. I think that's why it was. That's why it got blown up so much, because they were like engaged in a sense.
The issue with Ime Udoka in the Boston Celtics was that he had an inappropriate affair with another female on the actual staff, and there was a conflict of interest. And due to that conflict of interest, you know, he ended up being excused from the actual team, and which was tough because the year before that situation, didn't he take Boston to the finals?
Yeah.
If not the finals, to at least the Eastern Conference Finals. I think it was
we went
the finals.
I want to say we went pretty far, but I want to say it was either it was
it was the finals.
Yeah, I think it was, because we got there with our with the, I want to say, I guess you could say, a backup head coach, but we got there with the next year with the backup head coach.
Yeah, so that's why he was excused. So here's the point I'm trying to make with the whole Ime Udoka thing. As far as another, even though it was very entertaining, I question it, because you just got excused from the actual Boston Celtics for making questionable decisions on questionable character decisions. You get another chance because he's a highly talented coach. Right. Let's not, you know, downplay that. He's a very highly talented coach with the actual Rockets, a young team looking for leadership, looking for guidance, looking to mold that team into, you know, a quality franchise. But it's a lot of young talent right now, and this is the type of example that you want to set. Now, I'm not saying you can't be a fiery person, and you should be teaching your players to, you know, fight always, and not fight when not physical fight, but you know, as compete. Rather would be a better word, and to not back down. But getting ejected from the game and you know, going back and forth with the player, I just don't know exactly if it was the best image to display, or the best type of message to send to a team that's young already, especially when players like Ja Morant are making, I know Ja Morant's not on that team, but young players are making questionable decisions. You'd think you would have a little bit more maturity and leadership at the head coach position. That's just another way that I looked at it. I don't know if you saw any validity in that opinion or not.
Yeah, I think there is, but Ime, I mean, we don't know the whole situation, as in, did he say it to him, directed at him, or he said it and LeBron just heard him and LeBron came over and said something about it. We don't know. I don't really know how the dynamic worked out, because if he said it to him, then your point is valid. But if he said it and then LeBron heard him, then it's just like, well, he wasn't saying it to him directly, you know, so.
Well, okay. I could agree with that. I could agree with that. And, you know, time will tell. I definitely think Ime, and I'm in Houston, so I definitely want to see the Rockets do well. I plan on taking my 5-year-old son to a game here shortly, because he's about at that age where I think he would enjoy it. So, I'm sorry.
But I will say this. I'm sure Ime, even though he did say it, he didn't care if he heard it or not.
No.
So,
absolutely not.
So then if you look at it like that, then your point is still valid.
Yeah, absolutely not. Ime doesn't care. Like I said, he's a former player, and former players carry themselves a certain way because they've been in the league and they've had those type of verbal altercations and verbal spat. So, he handled it in that particular manner, which is fine, and we'll see exactly how everything play out. I do want him to spend more time on the actual Rockets in the direction that they're going, because they have talent, a lot of young talent. It needs to be molded, but I think they have enough talent that they can actually give a year or two be competitive in the league. So we'll see exactly if that takes place. Since we're already talking about LeBron here, let's go ahead and go into our next LeBron story. Everybody's aware that Bronny is at USC, and he will be taking the court for the first time in his collegiate career. And I don't know exactly if you heard LeBron was questioned about how he plans on handling that situation if there's a conflict with his schedule with the Lakers. And LeBron made no equivocations. He directly said that he plans on being at Bronny's first game, even if that means he has to miss a Lakers game. Do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, I don't think it's an issue, because I'm sure a lot of people watching have missed work for worse reasons.
Oh, yeah.
But my only issue with it is that I don't know when Bronny's game is, but his first game is, but say that first game is during, the in-season tournament, one of those major games, and it's just like, should he go? I mean, that's something that LeBron has to figure out. But I mean, it's the first. Me, I'm big on history. So if this is this is the first year you're with the Lakers, I mean, you can set that tone of, okay, Lakers are leading this. We got the first one. This is Bronny's first game. I know he's going to have more games. I mean, you've seen Bronny play before. I mean, yes, it's his first collegiate game, but I mean, family over everything, or history over everything, or it's one of those things. I mean, it's definitely going to be a tough decision, but this point may not even matter, because I mean, we don't know when Bronny's first game is. I guess we should have figured that out, but
no, I looked and tried to see exactly if there was a definitive answer as far as when Bronny was going to be taking the court for the first time, and there wasn't. Okay. It was kind of like, it could be this game, it could be that game, so that's kind of why it's kind of up in the air right now.
So the season's already started, so he just hasn't suited up on the court yet.
He just hasn't suited up yet.
Okay.
Because you remember, he had the cardiac event.
Right. But I could have, so my thing is then, I mean, Bronny's my son. I don't know if Bronny lives on campus or at home, but I mean, talk to Bronny. Okay, just don't suit up. Just don't start your game until after the in-season tournament. I mean, I know you don't want to push it back, but I mean, like, have a conversation with your son. If you want me at the game, I can be at your first game. If it's this date. I mean, it's just figure out your schedules.
Yeah, at that point, that's definitely an option.
But you would have to add. I mean, as LeBron James, as a father, is just like, I would think as LeBron. I mean, from the outside looking in, I'm sure he would ask Bronny what his decision is first, and then LeBron adjusts according to what Bronny is going to say to him. But as a father, if I'm LeBron James, that's what I would do. I would try and work out a schedule and figure out, okay, when do you plan on coming into when do you plan on having your first game, or even checking with the doctors and the coaching staff to figure out when's the best time to come back in the game based on your health, and then we figure that out. And then if there's a situation where your first game can be pushed back just in case there may be a conflict with a major game as such as the in-season tournament, then yeah. But if it's just a regular NBA game and it's not during the in-season tournament, then yeah, I'm sure he'll miss the game.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Go ahead.
If it was Michael Jordan.
Hell no, he's not missing. Not missing.
What about Kobe? What do you think Kobe would miss a game to see his son play his first game?
See, Kobe was big on family, so that's where it's just like, I don't know. I feel like for sure if it was Gigi, I'm pretty sure he would miss the game. I'm pretty sure, but Michael Jordan, no, definitely not. I don't think he's missing that game at all.
I for some reason when I was writing my actual notes, getting ready for the actual game, that just popped in my head. I wonder what Jordan would do, or I wonder what Kobe would do, and I think that's what makes LeBron a little bit different than Jordan and Kobe. LeBron has a very well documented record as far as how he is as a father with his actual kids. And that could be because of the age of social media. Like, social media is more prevalent during LeBron's kids' upbringing, and while Jordan's kids' upbringing didn't have social media there.
Right.
So that may be why LeBron's is much more documented. But like I said, it's his oldest son. His son is coming back from a cardiac event. It's his first game. I don't care really what it is. LeBron has done enough for this league and in this league that if he wants to take a day to celebrate his son and not require his son to adjust his schedule, but show his son that this right here is my priority, priority because LeBron is going to moving closer to a retirement. And, you know, supporting his kids should be the priority. And maybe that's just me talking as actual father. But I definitely think LeBron is doing the right thing by committing to actually being there and, you know, going forward as far as being there for Bronny and making certain he's going to be present at the first game.
Yeah,
I think it's the right decision.
And he already got the Lakers a championship. So, I mean, like, you don't really have anything else to prove over there. So, if you do miss a game, even if it's, like I was saying, even if it's an in-season tournament game, if that's a decision that he makes, I don't think anybody will I mean, they definitely will fault him for that, but, I mean, could they?
Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's go ahead to the next storyline. Let's talk about the Packers, man. Let's go into the NFL. Packers beat the Chiefs. I think this was up at Lambeau. Did you catch that game by chance?
No, I didn't, but, I mean, a 19-27 loss. I mean, that's pretty tough. With I want to say the Packers were 6-6 at the time, or 5-6, one of the two. But, yeah, I guess it's just tough for the Chiefs. I don't know. It's just like the Chiefs, like, they'll play well for a couple games, and it's just like they'll kind of fall off. So it's just like, I don't know. It's like they can't get their feet up under them. But Jordan Love had a good game. Let's see what he had. He was 25 for 36 passing, 267 passing yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions, and a QBR of 90.3. So, I mean, he had a great game. And then you have A.J. Dillon. He rushed for 18 rushing attempts for about 70-some yards. So he had a solid game too. But I mean, what are you to do?
A very competitive game in Lambeau. The final score was 27-19. Packers are now 6-6. The Chiefs are 8-4. So, you know, they definitely did surpass a higher ranked or a higher position team in the actual league. Solid. But Jordan Love's been balling, man. The decision that the Packers made to go ahead and let Aaron Rodgers leave the actual organization to prepare, you know, the stage for Love's
rise
right. Was perfect. I mean, in the last 3 games here, Love has he has a win against the LA Chargers. In that particular game, he had 322 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. The next game was the Detroit Lions, 268 yards, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. And then, of course, the recent win against Kansas City with 267, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, those are 3 stellar performances.
No interceptions. Just like I mean, Pat Mahomes, he had the interception, so I'm sure that that played a factor in the game. Because if you turn the ball over, I mean, you can convert on points if your defense does something, but in that drive, you're not able to convert on points. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess as far as the Chargers, I mean, as far as the Chiefs, I think they just kind of have to pull it all together. I mean, what I did notice about this game is that they're targeting Rice a little bit more as opposed to just focusing on Kelsey. So they do have another receiver out there, but I think they need to find one more target out there to kind of spread the ball around, because if you've seen with the Packers and what Jordan Love did, he spread the ball around a lot. You know, there's multiple receivers with over 5 targets, multiple receivers with over 4 to 5 catches. So when you spread the ball around, you know, enough, you're able to get players open, and you're opening up the field more to actually move the offense rather than just focusing on a Kelsey or just focusing on a Rice, where the defense knows where to look. And then you got Isaiah Pacheco, or whatever his last name is. Don't fault me for screwing up his last name, but you got him in the, you know, you see the 3 options. You see the whole dynamic of this offense. So you just playing for that, but with the Packers, I mean, they spread the ball around, so I think that helped for their win.
You know, spreading the ball around is one thing, or having a desire to spread the ball around is one thing, but also you have to have the right person, you know, with the ball in hand to actually get the ball to the playmakers. And Love is really, you know, proving himself very worthy of, you know, the confidence that the actual Packers have put in him. Real quickly, before we actually move forward with this subject, I want to go ahead and introduce our guy. We got a guy on the line here real quick. Hey, Slim, you there, man? Slim, are you present? Are you on the line, or did we miss you? Yo, what's going on, man?
What's going on? How you doing? Oh, yeah, we good.
We blessed, man. We blessed. How you been doing, man? You doing all right? All right, good. Hey, I got a little feedback on my actual headset. Do me a favor, if you have us playing in the background, just turn it down just a little bit so you don't come through. Awesome, man. What do you think about this Packers-Chiefs game? Did you get a chance to watch any of it this weekend? Yeah. Yeah. You know, they really tried to downplay, you know, Tyreek like they were just going to be able to plug someone in, and they were able to get through it like for at least one season, I think.
I mean, they got a chip.
Yeah,
right?
They got the championship. they got away with it for one season, but now I think they're really starting to feel the impact of not having a talent like Tyreek Hill on that squad. Yeah. Mahomes had a. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Mahomes had 210 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT in that game. Mahomes has not changed. He is still a uber talented quarterback. However, he just doesn't have the tools that he used to have, man. I think it comes down to the talent around him.
Scotland. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Agreed. I agree.
Or they just have to. He may have to get with the receiving coach and try and figure out some better plays for him. Or if you're not running your routes, or the defense is covering you, you got to figure something out. Get open. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Isn't Scatland like their I guess like their the guy that like the deep man in a sense, pause, like the guy who who they focus on for that type of play, but I don't know because I mean you can't always go halfway down the field on every play, so he's got to figure out something in those those 8 to 10 yards, or those 3 to 5 yard plays or something of that nature, a drag route or a dig route or something, an out route, in route, something. He got to figure out something to try and get open, or get back in the gym and actually work on some routes.
Yeah, you got to step in that. You got to step in that. Yeah, I agree. You got
arguably probably the, if not one or not two, if not three, the best quarterback in the league right now to pass to you. Come on.
Yeah. We'll see. He definitely needs to improve the play. And in addition, I think the offensive coordinator and the coaching staff need to find more creative ways. And he's dropped the ball, but still continue to find creative ways to get the ball to him. So they need to keep doing that. He needs to do his part, and I think that'll happen over time. I just don't see the Chiefs really falling off a cliff yet. I think they still have enough talent, and they still have Mahomes. So while they may be hitting a road bump this season, because I think what are their record right now? Their record right now is 8-4, which isn't a horrible record. I mean, the 49ers are 9-3. And we know that. Well, we'll get into that story in a minute.
But the thing about it is like Slim was saying, he used to play for the Packers. How much time do you need? You've seen film of what he did with the Packers. It's not like you have to reinvent the wheel. You just kind of duplicate the wheel in a sense, where it's just like you create plays that are similar to these plays that you've seen him do well at. So it's just like I always say when it comes to coaching. I mean, you just have to understand your personnel and make the best play calls based on what your personnel can do and what their talents are.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next actual storyline here, and we're going to talk about another major football game that happened over the actual weekend.
Oh, we ain't got to talk about it.
Yeah, we got to mention it, though. I know, 49ers over the Eagles, man. The 49ers, I knew you was one waiting for that one. The 49ers beat the Eagles 42-19 this weekend, taking the Eagles record to 10-2 overall, taking the 49ers to 9-3. And the quarterback play was a lot closer, I think, than most people want to admit. And let me tell you why I think it was a lot closer. 49ers, Purdy had an amazing game, 19 for 27, 314 yards, 4 TDs, no interceptions. Hurts, however, didn't play bad, in my opinion. I mean, 26 for 45, 298 yards, only 1 TD, no interceptions. But here's the thing. He's only 16 yards less production than Purdy had, and everyone's glorifying Purdy as having such a tremendous game. I mean, I think Hurts played with him. His players just weren't, able to get in the end zone.
Yeah.
But as far as getting the ball in the playmaker's hands, he had 7 more completions than Purdy did. Only 16 less. 16 less yards, and he had no interceptions.
I don't want to say A.J. Brown had over 100 receiving yards.
Yeah. Did you catch that game, Slim? You had any thoughts on it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think they go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. 100. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And, but I think we all agree that probably one of the most versatile and complete football skill players out there right now is Deebo Samuels. So, if you get the ball in Deebo Samuels' hands, in some cases you could just step back and let him do the rest, which is what Purdy did a lot of times. Deebo Samuels had 3 touchdowns, 2 receiving and 1 rushing touchdown. I mean, he's a tremendous talent. And when you talk about the 49ers team, as we looked at it, that team is stacked.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying the Eagles aren't stacked, but the 49ers have talent, in all phases of that actual franchise.
They definitely have the talent, but the thing about Deebo is like he picks and chooses when he wants to, be talented in a sense. Like he'll like this game, like last game, he just had an awesome game. I mean, like that's a crazy game. 3 TDs, 1 rushing, 2 receiving TDs, over 120 rushing and receiving yards. But he picks and chooses when he wants to play like that. I mean, some games he'll play and only have 2 receiving. Only 2 receptions.
Yeah.
But then you have Christian McCaffrey. He does this, on a regular. I mean, he's really what's the word I'm looking for?
Complete.
Yeah, he's consistent with his gameplay. I mean,
Okay.
even this game, he had over 100. I want to say he also had over 120 rushing and receiving yards this game. I mean, I want to say all but maybe 1 or 2 games he's scored a TD. So
Yeah.
I mean, like he's very consistent player. But I think the downfall of the San Francisco 49ers will be if all their players don't play consistently all the time. You don't have to worry about Christian McCaffrey. The players I say you have to worry about is the Debos, the Ayuks. You have to worry about I forgot about it. You got George Kittle out there, so they definitely have a solid team out there. But it's just like getting all those players to play at the top of their game all the time. Now, if they play at the top of their game all the time, then I mean, they may be looking at a Super Bowl. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very talented 49ers team. Let me ask you guys a question here real quick, and we're going to move over to the next actual graphic here we have set up here. And it's going to kind of tie into a couple players from this 49ers and Eagles game here. Let's talk about the NFL. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Let's talk about the NFL MVP race going on right now. I have a question, and I want to get Slim's take on it first, if you don't mind, Kyle.
Yeah, go ahead.
Slim, do you think a non-quarterback can be the MVP this year? Let's talk about Kyle. Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question.
How about us?
Oh, I mean, it could quarterback, running back. It is a skill position award, I would say. I do think there are some running backs that have gotten the MVP award before, but that's kind of when the running back was a more
Prolific.
prolific and appreciated position. Yeah. If you let me ask you a question, Slim. Here's a question. If you had to crown someone as the MVP based off what's happened so far in this year, who would it be for you?
That's a good question.
All right, Kyle, give me yours. Let me give Slim some time. Kyle, you have an answer for that question right now?
Top player. I mean, who you got up there is Tyreek. I mean, I ran off some of the stats for Tyreek. He's got 1,481 yards, 12 TDs. He has 5 games with over 150 receiving yards. He has 1 game with over 200 receiving yards, and then he has 8 games with over 100 receiving yards. He has 93 receptions this season. Tyreek is having a crazy year. As far as quarterback though, that's tough because I would want to say Jalen Hurts, but I mean it's more so of like it's a team thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's like a team thing, you know. But I mean, I can give it to Jalen Hurts because he's able to get the team involved in a sense, you know. Like he's really took command of that team and really made the team who it is. Like he brought everybody together. Like even just his leadership alone has really made this team who it is from what we see. So I would say Jalen Hurts. I would love to see him get it, of course. But as far as a player who isn't a quarterback, I think Tyreek. Another player that I said earlier was Lamar Jackson. He's having a great season, and then I don't think AJ Brown could get in there, but he's had some great games, especially with those 7 games back. The 7 streak of I want to say it's over 125 yards or something receiving yards. So that was a solid stat line to break. But I think the top would be either Jalen Hurts and then Tyreek.
All right, Slim, you got to answer. You have a pick yet yourself? Oh, yeah. 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 No, yeah, Myles Garrett is a beast, man. I definitely like his play. He didn't make my top picks. I think having a non-offensive player that's not a quarterback win it is probably more realistic in this league than it is to have a defensive player win it. And the reason I say that is because defense has been devalued systematically by the actual league. All the roughing the quarterbacks and all the different ways they protect offensive skill players shows you that the league has consistently over time right in front of us moved away from valuing defensive talent, unless it's someone that's in a defensive back position. But the guys in the trenches or at the line in the middle at the linebacker positions, they're not really valued the way that they used to be valued when defense was valued in the actual league, and that's systematic. And for that reason, I think it's very hard, while he may be deserving, for him to really get a lot of consideration. I do want to talk about who I think would be a good pick for MVP. An historic pick.
Oh, geez. Oh, okay.
A historic pick. Now, in order for me to actually go there, I want to give you guys some stats real quick, and I want to see if you guys can help me out. Okay. Here are Josh Purdy. Here's some stats. Jalen Hurts has, for the season, 2,995 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions.
You said this is Jalen Hurts or Josh Purdy?
This is Jalen Hurts.
Okay,
and I'm going to give them in order. So, of the people that I'm talking about, Jalen Hurts is at the bottom. Okay. Jalen Hurts, 2,995 yards, 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Next up, Purdy, 3,185 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Above Purdy, Dak Prescott, 3,234 yards, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Now, I'm going to start right there, Slim, because I'm shocked I haven't heard you mention Dak Prescott once as MVP. No, you should have. Hey, I thought you was gonna leave. I thought you was gonna leave with that. That's I'm shocked you didn't say that off rip. But okay, Dak Prescott, 3,234, 26 yards. Lamar Jackson is not above any of these guys. Lamar Jackson only has 2,618 yards, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for this season. Dak Prescott has twice as many with 26 touchdowns. So Lamar Jackson's out. I at least has him now, unless he has a great push at the end of the year.
Tua got to be on your list because I'm thinking about Tyreek.
You know what?
Tua
I did not even pull up Tua's stats. Could you pull them up for me real quick?
Yeah.
See exactly what Tua's stats is, because that's not even the person. I don't even have his stats on my actual list.
I thought he was definitely going to be on your list. Because,
no, he's not on my list. The person that's on my list.
But you go ahead. I'm pull it up.
And a person that's a historic pick, in my personal opinion, because there's only one other person that's done this, and that person's name is Jim Brown. The only rookie to ever win MVP.
You better not say CJ.
CJ Stroud.
Man.
3,005. Hold up. Let me give you the numbers. 3,540 yards for the season, 20 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions. Mind you, if I'm not mistaken, 3 of those interceptions was just a bad game that he had. He had all 3 of those in one game. So for the remaining games in the actual season, this guy's only had 2 interceptions while putting up 3,540, which is a higher yards count than all the other quarterbacks that I actually mentioned. And now I'm about to get chewed up here. Let's see.
Nah.
No, not that bad.
Nah.
CJ Stroud is above Tua as well. Tua only has 3,457, which puts Tua in the second spot, but CJ Stroud is still first.
With them interceptions.
And clearly, CJ Stroud is a bigger asset to his team because the 7-5 Houston Texans were not really expecting what they've got from Stroud. No. What do both of you guys think about that particular idea? The only second rookie in league history behind Jim Brown to potentially be considered for MVP.
I like history, so I'm supporting it. And I think even when in the pre-show I think I was discussing CJ a little bit. Well, I was just discussing some of his season and just how the Texans are playing. But I like the idea. I mean, I guess it's not really an idea because he's got the stat line to prove it. But those numbers are insane, especially for playing for the Texans.
I don't think now I may have missed it. I'm not saying, but I don't know exactly if someone has more. A quarterback has more, at least yards than him. He doesn't have the most touchdowns. He only has 20 compared to Dak Prescott's 26 and Purdy's 23. But still. You have to look at the totality of his impact for his actual franchise. I would venture to say that Purdy is nowhere near as valuable to the 49ers as C.J. Stroud has been to the Texans. And I would also say the same thing about Dak Prescott. I don't think Dak Prescott is as valuable to the Dallas franchise as Stroud has been to Texans. He's actually made the Texans relevant this year.
Yeah, I don't know who's in the who's the top quarterback right now. I'm trying to pull that up.
While he pulls that up, do you have anything you want to say about the idea of Dak Prescott being Howell? Sam Howell.
He's under he's right under CJ, but he's at 3,466 passing yards, 18 TDs, 14 interceptions. His QBR is 47, but he has
too many interceptions.
Yeah, way too many interceptions.
14 TDs, too many interceptions. Stroud has more yards, if I'm not mistaken, more touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions, a third of how many Howell has. So that knocks him out. Yeah. If you had to make the decision right now with the stats that I just gave you, would you give it to Prescott over Stroud, Slim? That's a hard pick, man. Yeah. I wouldn't say that, man. I mean, being a starting quarterback in any franchise, you have some pressure. Now, I'm not saying he has as much pressure as Dak Prescott has, because I think the reason Dak Prescott has more pressure is 2 reasons. Once again, like you said, Stroud is a rookie, and there may not have been that high of an expectation. He's by far shot past the expectation that they may have had for him. I think the reason Dak Prescott has more expectation is twofold. One, because he is a quarterback of Dallas, and whether we like him or hate him, Dallas is considered America's team, and ownership is very visible consistently when it comes to the performance of the actual players. So Jerry Jones is there always looking. And secondly, Dak Prescott getting the bag. He getting the money. With the money comes great expectations. So Stroud, if I'm not mistaken, is still playing on a rookie contract. So,
he's trying to secure the bag.
He's trying to secure the bag. Yeah. You had last thing to say on this particular topic, Kyle, before we move forward?
Shout out to CJ.
Yeah, shout out to CJ. The fact that he's even in the conversation and could potentially share a particular distinction with someone the caliber of Jim Brown, who's arguably the best to ever do it. I mean, some people will make that argument, especially the generation before ours would definitely make that argument that Jim Brown is the best football player to ever play. Right. The fact that you could potentially put your name in that particular category, any kind of category with Jim Brown, is amazing. And I wish the kid the best. We'll see exactly what happens. As a not only be a minority, but a minority quarterback. When just less than a decade or so ago, we all know the opinions that were held between the ability of minority quarterbacks to play the game.
I got a text that said they can't hear Slim.
Oh man, shoot. Okay. Let me turn up.
Shout out to the guy who wants to hear Alabama Slim. Shout out to you.
Hey, I think we may have fixed that issue. I apologize for that, Slim. That may have been a technical issue on my part, but I think we got it cleared away. Go ahead, Mike, check for me one more time. See if we came through.
It's okay, man. Shout out to the guy that wanted to hear my voice.
Yeah, look, it was my mom texting me. She's like, "We can't hear Slim."
Hey, I think I got Slim fixed up now.
See. She's about to text me back right now.
Yeah, but if not, let me know. Let's go ahead and go.
She said we're good.
We're good. All right, let's go ahead and go to
Thanks,
the.
Mom.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, let's go to the next actual topic, and you guys gonna love this one. Of course, for those who have not been paying attention, Kyle is a big Philadelphia Eagles fan, and Slim is a big Dallas Cowboys fan. We had some trash talk earlier this year when Cowboys and Eagles met up earlier in a matchup that the Eagles became victorious. And guess what we're looking at? We're looking at a rematch. The game of the week is going to be the Dallas Cowboys and the Eagles meeting up for another burner. What do you guys think? I'm going to let you guys lead this one. Slim, you go first if you don't mind.
Slim.
I smell eagle meat.
Eagle meat.
I smell it. Can you smell it? Cowboy Nation, stand up. It's our time. Cowboys are surging right now, peaking at the right time, trying to get into playoff, jockeying for playoff position. The Eagles, on the other hand, if you the eye test for the Eagles is something going on. There's something going on the Eagles right now. So it's a great time for the Cowboys to catch them while they're down, put our foot on their neck.
See, and that sounds good, but coming off a whooping from San Fran, I don't think they're going to let that just, take that lightly. I think they're going to come in here, go into Dallas and try and whoop on something. So I think it's going to be another good game like we had last time.
No. Nobody going into Dallas to get no win.
Listen, Jalen ain't gonna take too much more of that foolishness. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Hey, let me tell you, Dallas and the Eagles are both playing very well now. The Eagles are looking for a little retribution for what happened up in Philadelphia earlier this year. I actually think that Dallas has a much better shot of actually winning this actual game. Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
Say it louder. I know what you're finna say. You finna say the Cowboys finna whip that
ass. I hope not.
And listen, if I was a gambling man, which I'm not, but if I was gonna put a wager on it, my money would be on the Cowboys to win this game. I'm just gonna be honest. I think the Cowboys are definitely gonna look at tape. These are some of the most skilled people at analyzing tape and figuring exactly out how something that was beneficial for one team could potentially be beneficial for their team. So you can guarantee that the coaching staff, both on the defensive and offensive side of the Dallas Cowboys staff, are going to be looking at that 49ers tape very, very closely. Go ahead.
Guess who else is going to be looking at tape?
I'm sure.
The Eagles are going to be looking at tape. So the issue that the Eagles have with
I hope they're looking at the tape from the last 3 or 4 weeks where we don't score 200 points in the National Football League.
Hey, hold on, Kyle. Hold on, Slim. Let me hear Kyle out here. I want to hear Kyle get his complete thoughts out about this game.
So the thing about it with San Fran is what they did. They attacked our linebackers. So a lot of the linebackers were attacked this game, and they just exposed our linebackers. Like it just looked really bad. So I think the Eagles are going to try and come up with a defensive scheme that could avoid or trying to alleviate some of that, alleviate some of those mismatches. But I think that's what we got to work on. Definitely have to work on the defense. Have to try and get some more offensive firepower. I don't think we're using Swift enough as we should. Swift came into the league, I want to say, started with our team a little bit this season. And I want to say his first game with us was, I want to say the first few games he was rushing for like over 100 some yards, had a like over like 20 receiving yards. So I think they have to utilize Swift a little bit more. I think they have to get into the screen pass a little bit more. I think they have to use these check down plays. These big plays aren't going to cut it against Dallas. They definitely have a strong defensive force. So I don't know, man. I think the Eagles are going to have to come with a completely different game scheme for this game just to go up against that Dallas defense. And as far as the offense of Dallas, it's I don't know. That's a high-powered offense. So I don't know. It's going to be tough for the Eagles, but I think they just kind of have to run some cover 2, run a little cover 3. I don't know. They're going to have to do something with that.
Hey man, you look nervous right now.
I don't know if
you're paying attention to how it look. It don't look good on screen.
I'm very
when you're talking about your Eagles right now.
I literally said this last week with San Fran. I was nervous about that game. I'm nervous about this game. I was nervous about the first Dallas game that we played again. It's just these are like the hardest games of the season. So I'm always nervous about these games. And even those games like when we lost to the Jets, like you worry about those games that you're supposed to win, but you don't win.
You smell that bird cooking.
So those are things I worry about, but we'll see what happens.
Slim, we'll give you the last word on the Cowboys-Eagles matchup coming up. You have anything else you want to say going into this actual weekend of football?
Shout out to the Cowboy coach McCarthy, had surgery. Hopefully he pulls through. But the Dallas Cowboys have been totally different since McCarthy's took over as offensive coordinator.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a really good game. I look forward to watching it, and we'll see exactly how everything plays out. But I definitely think it's going to be a very, very tough game. And I think the game is probably going to be won by field goal, maybe 6 points at the most. I don't think it'll be a spread of more than a touchdown.
I don't think
it's going to be a very close game. All right, let's move forward to the next actual storyline. Has anybody been paying attention to the NBA Cup tournament? We reported on this earlier this actual year. Whenever the in-season tournament or in-season tournament started,
right? As
far as the qualifying rounds, and I'm have to be honest. I think that this thing has really done what it was designed to do.
I think it was successful.
I think it's very successful. In my particular opinion, when I've been paying attention to the actual the games or whatnot, typically I don't even pay attention to the NBA this time of the year just because I think it becomes so monotonous. But it seems like, and I don't even know exactly if it's a placebo, meaning that it's not really anything, but maybe it looks like it's more just because they put a trophy out there.
And they put some new courts down.
Yeah, they put some new courts down. They put a bracket up, and they put a trophy as something that you could potentially win. And now all of a sudden, I'm engaged a little bit more than I normally would be in the NBA around this time of the year. Do you feel that by chance?
I feel that, but we have to realize, like, this is the NBA, and these are competitors. So when you give them competition, you give them something to compete for, I think they're going to compete. And I think as far as fans, we looked at the NBA a little obscure in a sense where we're looking at the NBA as, oh, they're just players. They're just out here getting a check, and they're only looking for the championship. But a lot of these players really do love the game of basketball. So I feel as though when they're given the opportunity to actually compete and to actually say that I'm better at you than something, I think these people are taking these opportunities and really going out there and being able to show it. So I think that's what the in-season tournament is actually doing so well, is because it gives the opportunity to say that my team is better than you or I'm better than you. And then the beauty about the actual tournament is that they made it so condensed, and they made the brackets real difficult. Like, if you lose this game, you're out, or if you don't win this game, you only have like a few chances to actually get in. It creates that competition rather than with the actual NBA playoffs. I mean, you have all season to get into the NBA playoffs, and then once you get to the end of the year when it starts getting more competitive, where you see those windows closing, then it gets competitive. So what they created with this, by giving you a shorter window to actually compete and to actually what's the word I'm looking for, qualify for the actual tournament, you create competition. So I think it's a beautiful thing.
I agree. Slim, you have any thoughts on the in-season tournament? Have you been paying attention to it?
Could you imagine being on a team like the Lakers? We're here playing in this in-season tournament, and I'm a guy that don't get that much playing time, and I have the opportunity to walk away with $500,000. Going out here playing hard the whole game. One thing about this in-season tournament, you're getting top-tier talent that's playing for the team, man. Yeah. They playing the whole game at another level that we ain't used to mid-season.
Yeah.
That's why we glued to it. Like, we're not used to these guys playing this caliber, this intense, at this part of the year. And one thing about that tournament, that's what it's bringing out. When it comes to that check, everything that Kyle says is at play too. But when that check at the end, like when they interviewed Antetokounmpo last night, they was like, yo, you know you get like 100 bands for finishing in second place. He was like, 100 bands? The rich get richer.
Yeah, he's filthy rich.
Yeah, and it's all about the money, man. It shows you how that money is an incentive, man.
Yeah, without question. Yeah, I'm like I said, I think at first I was kind of skeptical about it, but it seems like it's working. Another thing that they're doing is because the qualifying rounds had a points factor as well, meaning that the more points or that you scored, or either the larger your winning point spread, it helped as far as qualifying as well. So that kept starters in the game longer than they typically would be. Even when the game was already won, like, you know, and, you know, a lot of times, you know, the NBA has that unwritten rule that if you're already up, don't score the layup if it's wide open.
We did see that with the
people
Celtics.
Scoring the layup. You know, like we're in the in-season tournament and this layup matters. So now, you know, you can't really fault people from playing hard all the way through the end of the actual game. So I think it's actually become successful. Now, right now, who's left? I think we're in the semifinals.
Yes.
Do you know the teams?
Yeah, so who we got left is the Pacers and the Bucks. They'll be playing against each other. I want to say it's tomorrow. Yeah, they'll be playing against each other tomorrow. And then you have the Pelicans and the Lakers playing against each other.
And it's yeah, it's a one-game elimination, correct?
I believe so. And then they shoot out the Vegas, but I can double check on that for you. But those are the teams that are left. Yeah, semifinals, and then let's see.
Yeah, and I think I was watching an interview. They had interviewed Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant lost to
the championship will be on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I want to say, are they actually playing in Vegas this week, like tomorrow?
Last night.
Yes. I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
So are they actually? I'm trying to figure out if they're actually playing in Vegas tomorrow night, and they'll be there until the Saturday. So yeah,
I think the semifinals and the finals are in Vegas.
Okay, then yeah, that's
so
tomorrow.
I think they're already there. And Slim is right. The Lakers eliminated Phoenix. That game. Bradley Beal still isn't playing, so I'm still waiting to see exactly what that team looks like when Bradley, Beal, Booker, and Durant are on the floor together, or at least in rotation together. But you know, once again, the Lakers took them out, and the Lakers playing very well. And I think, like Durant said this, and I kind of agree with them. The Lakers travel very well, so the fact that the Lakers can just shoot down to Vegas, you know, Laker fans can shoot down to Vegas. You're gonna have that. Playing it in Vegas is like playing it for a home game for the actual Lakers. So the Lakers are going to travel very well. The Lakers are going to be in a position where they can actually pull this thing off. And once again, you mentioned this earlier, it's history. It's the first one.
LeBron ain't going to let this go. LeBron ain't going to let this go.
With the successes they've had, I don't think they're going to be going back on it because people have been paying attention. I have been paying attention. And like I said, normally I don't even pay attention to the actual league this time of year.
I believe we get a Bucks Lakers in-season tournament championship game with the Lakers winning.
Yep, we'll find out. Let's go ahead and move on to our next subject. We're going to spend a considerable amount of time here. Actually, I thought we would get to this sooner because we have a lot to talk about. Let's talk about college football, man. College football is going crazy. We finally have the teams that are going to be in the BCS championship bracket. But before we even go to that, let's talk about what I thought was one of the biggest games of the year, Alabama beating Georgia for the SEC championship. Slim, I know you're out there in Alabama. What's your thoughts on that game, and how was it received in the state of Alabama?
Woo! Roll Tide, baby.
Yeah, man.
Roll Tide. We're still partying off of that, man. We're the most. They said we weren't gonna do it. We did it.
It was tough.
They said we weren't gonna show up. We showed up. They said we weren't gonna win the championship. We won the championship. The tide is rolling, baby. We're peaking at the right time. That's all I can tell you.
Facts.
Pack a lunch. We coming.
What you think, Kyle? You have anything to say about the Alabama win first before we get into the actual bracket selections?
Shout out to Alabama. Shout out to Nick Saban. I think this is a very important game, especially for Alabama, especially for the Nick Saban era, to be able to say that your team and your legacy was able to beat a team of that stature that has gone literally 3 seasons without getting a loss, and you as Nick Saban as the head coach, and then Alabama as his team being able to actually win this game against the number 1 team I think that's phenomenal, and I think it's definitely something that we should nod our heads to. But this is dope. I thought it was a great game. It was cool in the beginning of the game. Alabama had to make a comeback. Then you have the second quarter. Alabama pulls it away at the end. So I think it's a beautiful thing. The dope part about it was the beautiful thing about it was that even though Alabama won the game, there still wasn't a certainty that Alabama would actually get in. And I know we'll discuss that later, but
yes,
just the way this has set up for Alabama to get in is just like, Alabama, you beat the #1 school. You damn near got to finish this thing out at this point, because if you don't win it, then it's just like, why the hell did we put you here?
Exactly, I agree. Yeah, man, Alabama. It was a big win.
At that, the 8th seed.
It was a big, yes, the 8th seed stepping up to beat the #1 seed, the Titan of Georgia, the former reigning BCS champs. I mean, it was a big win. Mm-hmm. Now let's get to the actual bracket. Do you think they got it right? Who want to start with that one? I want to know if you guys think they got it right. Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think they got it right. Even though FSU was 13-0, I mean, you're missing out your head quarterback, and the only reason they won that game is because Louisville couldn't score.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think any other team would have that issue of not being able to score against FSU.
Now, the thing about it is, though, you said that quick. Now, you may have said it so quick because you may have thought about it for a while, so it was easy to answer the question after putting a lot of thought into it. But I just want to make certain that we all are in agreement and we all understand that this is the first time this was ever done. This is the first time a undefeated team from a Power 5 conference, and the ACC is a Power 5 conference, did not make the BCS final bracket.
I think I want to say they did that because they don't want to give any team a cakewalk. If you put FSU
when does the eye contest come into play, man?
You said that
again?
We
just watched one of them teams come through. When does the eye contest come into play?
What's your take? Explain what you mean by that.
The eye contest is everybody wants to root for Florida State. Okay, let's look at Florida State. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to see Florida State in the playoff
at all.
With the guy that was pushing the carts at the local grocery store as the quarterback. We just saw TCU get blister packed last year by Georgia by 50. So we already know what was going to happen to Florida State when they went into this playoff and played either one of these teams, whether it was Michigan, Georgia,
Washington,
Texas, whatever was going to happen. And the committee was more or less like, hooray, good season, but hey, man, we don't want to see this. We want to see the best of the best.
Okay, I agree. You want to see the best of the best. I do agree, but this I'm gonna be devil's advocate. I'm gonna argue for Florida State here real quick. Here's why. Florida State beat Louisville in the ACC championship. They beat Louisville in the ACC championship with their 3rd string quarterback. Of course, we all know the starter is hurt, but the 2nd string quarterback was out on concussion protocol.
Okay.
So they would not go into their bowl game, whichever bowl game they eventually get, nor would they have gone into the BCS bracket game with with their 3rd string quarterback. They would be up to their 2nd string quarterback. Now I don't know exactly how good this kid is either. He's not the starter. I get that, but this is college. But it's college, but of course we know the NCAA is big business. Let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
And that was a business decision that was actually made.
For sure.
FSU, and let me say this. If I had to say the most deserving teams, the teams that are most deserving to be in the actual BCS bracket, it would be FSU. They're 13-0, bottom line. I don't care that we always teach kids to overcome, to fight through adversity. They fought through adversity. It wasn't ideal that they lost their starting quarterback. It wasn't ideal that they lost a 2nd string quarterback. But they fought through adversity, and they still found a way to win. And that's what we talk about when we talk about players finding a way to win and fighting through adversity. So you're saying we teach this. However, even though they did it, they weren't acknowledged and they weren't rewarded for it. I found that problematic. So the most deserving team would have been FSU.
No,
go ahead.
Nobody wants to see a lame dog in a fight.
and my thing about it is, okay,
That's
FSU.
a lame dog. That dog gonna go in that fight and gonna get beat to sleep, and we're gonna be sitting there and watching it, and we're gonna feel sorry for it. Like, we don't want to see it. Basically, America stood up and said, "Hey, great season, but your leg is broken, and we don't want to see you go against a guy with 2 good legs."
Don't nobody want to see that. And then if you think about it, FSU they are going to a bowl game though. Like
yes.
Okay,
it's a major bowl game. A major bowl game.
The argument will be better once you beat Oregon. Beat Oregon, then come back and talk to us.
And that's where I was getting at, Slim. If they beat Oregon, then it's just like, okay, then you have a case of, okay,
then
maybe
you got a case,
then you got a case. But if you don't beat Oregon, then
the decision is correct.
Has that game already been announced? I didn't see it.
I want to say
they need to play up to par since they got such a big argument on who to play Oregon, beat Oregon.
Let me tell you something. That would be amazing. Let me tell you why that would be amazing. And I don't know exactly if they're gonna if they will make that happen, but they should make it happen. And this is why. Because if I look at the eye test, I'm still not sold on Washington. I'm sold on Washington. Washington beat Oregon.
I'm not sold on Michigan.
I'm not sold on Michigan either, especially not against Alabama. But real quick, before we go to Michigan and Alabama, because I do want to touch on that. But Washington beat Oregon twice this year. Oregon only has 2 losses, and both of them are to Washington. And each loss was only by 3 points. So if you have Florida State play Oregon and Florida State drubs Oregon, then that's going to say a lot about the actual selection.
I don't even see Florida State in here for a bowl game.
No, they're going to get a bowl game. I'm not worried about it. They may not have maybe they haven't announced all the bowl games yet.
I'm looking at all of them right
Nobody
now.
wants to see it.
Oh, here they are. They're playing Georgia. They're playing Georgia for the Orange Bowl.
Okay, yeah, that's another good matchup.
They ain't beating Georgia.
That's another good matchup.
They're not beating
Georgia.
Georgia.
What if they beat them?
They're not beating Georgia. I almost would put my house on it. Not even have a house.
Did you see how fast Kyle made that decision? They're not beating Georgia.
They're not beating
They're
Georgia.
not going to beat any top 10 team. Nobody wants to see it. So
Alabama barely beat them with a full roster. Florida State is
they're not beating Georgia, bro.
It's not happening.
They're going to get embarrassed.
You think Georgia State is going to let Alabama beat them and then lose? It's not. It's not happening. FSU might as well not even show up. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Well, hey, it's going to be pretty interesting. I'll tell you what. But okay, but let me just ask a question. I know you guys don't think Florida State, because I wrote this down. I had this debate with a coworker of mine.
We have to be honest with ourselves.
Yes, I had this debate with a coworker of mine. So I definitely want you guys to just indulge me with this hypothetical situation.
Okay, I'm listening.
Of course, I know that you both think that Florida State has no business being there. But let's say that Florida State did make it.
Okay.
Let's just say they made it.
Who's out though?
Who's out? Who's out
of
of the 4? Who's out?
Who's out?
In your opinion, who would be out?
Who's out? It would have to be.
No, you did say Michigan.
No,
Michigan.
No, it wouldn't be Michigan. It would have to be.
Why not Michigan, bro? The coach has been suspended not once in one season, twice in one season.
Isn't Michigan undefeated?
No, I think
they're in the midst of a cheating controversy that we have never heard to the extent. They got guys in character, bro.
Okay, Kyle. Not Kyle. Okay, Slim, give me 1 second. Let me hear Kyle talk some reason, because right now you're saying Michigan. If I'm not mistaken, Michigan's ranked number 1 right now, right?
Yeah, Michigan's for sure ranked.
In the midst of a controversial cheating scandal, bro, and nobody's saying that.
Hey, man, the NCAA has already showed you that they don't care about that cheating scandal. Harbaugh was on the sideline for that actual championship.
We're talking about kicking somebody out. If anybody got supposed to be kicked out, it's supposed to be the person in the midst of a cheating scandal, right?
Man, we'll see.
Based on numbers, I think even though Texas beat Alabama, Alabama beat Georgia, the number 1 seed. So I think that would automatically kick Texas out just because, yeah, you did beat us, but we beat the number 1 seed.
So if we were in a fairy tale world, put Florida State in, you would put Texas out.
I would put Texas out, but honestly, I think they would kick Bama out because Bama was number 8 seed and Texas beat them.
I agree with you. I would put Texas out, and this is why. Texas has the worst loss. Texas lost to Oklahoma. At the time Texas lost to Oklahoma, Texas was ranked number 3. Oklahoma was ranked number 12. When Alabama lost to Texas was ranked higher than Alabama. Texas was ranked number 3, and Alabama was ranked number 5. So Texas was supposed to win that game if you think about it.
That's a good point.
Now, Alabama has the best win.
Facts.
Alabama beat Georgia in the biggest stage other than the BCS championship.
Biggest game.
After Georgia had been undefeated for a number of actual years. So for that particular reason, I think I would have to leave Texas out. And that's why FSU got put in. I'm sorry, that's why FSU got put out. Because bottom line is, if there's any chance, if you believe that the NCAA is about the money, which I solely believe it, and if there's any chance you can get Texas into the BCS championship, you put them in.
Right.
You face the ridicule, you face the talk, you face whatever gripes that someone makes, and you put Texas in because Texas has more supporters and viewership than almost every other college football program in the country. So you put them in, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah. So
and I agree with you, R-Dub. I agree. You're totally correct.
All right.
But in the midst of all that, once we throw them on the wall and we look at fairness and we look at all the teams, the team that's supposed to be left out is Michigan.
No.
Out of all the other teams, nobody else in the midst of this. Their coach didn't get suspended for 1 game, 2 games, 3 games.
Have to see.
No other program is in the midst of this type of controversy. I know you got a good season. You're 12-0, 13-0. You beat Ohio State finally. But, hey, man, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
It came down too close this year. to the point to where, hey, somebody got to be left out. And being that you got all this extra stuff going on that ain't even football, bro, you guys look on the outside, look in.
Go ahead.
The fact that he came back and won that game, well, not came back, but came back into the coaching and won that game is crazy. I mean, like I was saying before, it's got to be a system over there where it's just like it's a plug and play system.
Yeah, I agree that Michigan and the NCAA, for that matter, has exposed themselves as being all about the dollars and not really much about moral righteousness. But if you were gonna keep Michigan out of the actual BCS championship, then they shouldn't have played for the conference championship. I mean, you should have just left them out. And I don't really think it would have been fair to the actual players. The players didn't make these decisions. These decisions was made by the actual coaches. So to keep the actual players out, I just think that would be a little bit harsh.
But did the team benefit from the coach?
Of course they benefited.
Well,
but did they know they were benefiting? I mean, I'm sure when they went in the film room, they didn't say, "Hey, here are the plays that we actually scouted from actual
coach,
players."
how do you get this film from the sideline? Get sideline.
2 years before, guy, Michigan was a losing program, like never won the big games. They hired that guy in the midst of this cheating scandal. They've been winning ever since he's been on the staff.
Yeah.
Before they hired him, they were some losers.
Yeah.
Since they hired that guy, they've been winning. Can't make it up. The numbers are the numbers.
Hey,
people need to look at that in the midst of this right here and trying to kick Bama out. They need to look at Michigan, man.
Well, Bama isn't going anywhere. Bama is just as popular, and they travel just as well as Texas in most cases. So Bama's another big draw. Right now, they have the best situation. This BCS is one of the best situations. You have Michigan, which is going to bring in that northwest demographic. You have Alabama. You have Alabama in the SEC, which is going to bring that in. You have the Pac-12 with Washington, which when did we think we'd ever get West Coast participation and West Coast support for a BCS championship? And then you have Texas. I mean, you have all the biggest markets. It's literally the perfect storm.
They're about to make so much money.
They're about to make a ton of money with this actual BCS championship. So I'm looking forward to it. Hey, Slim, we're gonna go ahead and let you go, man. I really appreciate you calling in again. Are we gonna be able to get you next week?
I'm waiting on you guys.
All right,
Cowboy Nation, big game. I'll see you guys next week.
All right,
Slim.
I appreciate you.
Hold down, peace.
All right.
Hey, real quick, while we have a couple more minutes here, while we wrap up the actual show, I always like to open up the actual lines to see exactly if anyone has any opinions about any of the actual subjects that we actually talked about today. So if you do have any takes on any of the actual subjects we've discussed, please give us a call right now at 281-942-7433. That's 281-942-7433. Any topic that we've discussed, any other topic you would like to discuss, is all fair game. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call right now. We'll keep the lines open for a minute or so at 281-942-7433. And once again, if you guys are watching, do us a favor, like, comment, subscribe to the actual channel and show us some support. We would definitely appreciate your support as we continue to try to grow our group viewership and talk more about sports and get you guys involved in the actual commentary. Appreciate it.
I think it's going to be some good football that we have coming up. As far as the Washington-Texas game, I don't know. I really want to say Washington is going to pull it out just because Washington is a very high-powered offense. Now, defense-wise, but offense, I mean, these guys are definitely going to be scoring. So I definitely think Washington is going to win that game. And then as far as the Michigan-Alabama game, I want Alabama to win, but I mean that's definitely a toss-up as of right now. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Let me tell you, Washington is a high-powered offense based off what they've been playing. When you start coming east of the Mason-Dixie, like things get a little bit different.
A little tough, huh?
And when you start coming a little bit further south of the Mason-Dixie, things get a little bit different.
I don't know if they played any. I'm trying to see what notable teams they played.
I'm not saying they haven't played competition. Clearly, they've played competition throughout the actual year. But I'm a firm believer that football gets a little bit more complicated in the actual South. And I would love to see exactly. Well, I love to see. We're going to see,
right.
And we're going to see. I really don't think Washington is going to beat Texas. I don't think it's going to be close. I think it'll be at least a 2-touchdown game. But you never know. Maybe Washington show up and surprise me.
But I think you were telling me this earlier. Washington played Oregon twice, and that's the only top 10 team that they played. So Texas might get active because, like I was saying earlier, Texas beat Alabama, which was a top 10 school. I'm trying to see who else they beat. I think it was just Bama who they beat.
Yeah, we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
With that said, man, we're going to go ahead and log off here. We appreciate you guys watching us. Tune in next week for more Bob Wood Right.
I hear you talking opinions, but where your facts at? I think it's time that we pull up and do a fact check. Hung again, we calling you to the circle. I'm tired of hearing the bull. I'm questioning your discernment, yeah. Like how you question the people that's really earned it, the people that's really working. Type of stuff for the circus.